FoodSpy, a mobile application for tracking food consumption. My name is Leiser Garcia, the project engineer. The other members of our team are Kayla Pastor, the database developer, David Kabore handling the user interface, and Michelle Bakels, the integration specialist. Let's begin with a brief introduction. FoodSpy will be a food consumption tracking software application. It will provide consumers with information ranging from ingredients and the usual nutritional information, potential allergens, and how the ingredients were produced. There will be a user interface that will enable the tracking of nutritional goals and calorie consumption, along with the flagging of items and food products that the application should warn the user about. All food information will be populated by datasets provided by major food retailers and restaurants in the United States, enabling a robust, centrally based database to minimize software size and ensure all users share the same experience. The mobile application will utilize your mobile device's geolocation feature to restrict searches to items available in your current location. A long-term goal of the application is to use augmented reality so that users can point their phone at food items to see information about the item they are seeking. To provide an overall description for the application we are developing, there are marked similarities to that of existing mobile applications such as MyFitnessPal and Weight Watchers. FoodSpy will offer users a much richer experience than those applications by catering to the user's personal dietary needs and sensitivities. It is a self-contained application that uses a remote database to populate information displayed and track personal goals and preferences. The product will allow for users to search and store food consumption details and provide information regarding its nutritional value, allergens, environmental impact, manufacturer details, and allow the user to save this information in their personalized user profile. The intended users for FoodSpy include people from all levels of technical expertise, as the application will be intuitive and user-friendly. The discerning quality will be people who are seeking to be more conscientious about their eating habits and require more information about what they are consuming. As we continue with our overall description, let's discuss some potential constraints and some assumptions and dependencies. Food providers is one potential constraint, as they will provide useful information provided by the software application, and our application will depend heavily on leveraging contracts with these food providers to provide the information accurately and in a timely manner. There are also regulatory constraints, as all information must be vetted to ensure exact match with food provider information due to possible legal concerns stemming from inaccurate information leading to safety concerns. Safety is our number one priority at FoodSpy. An additional constraint would be interface issues. Low or no reception areas could cause the applications to stop functioning properly, as the application requires connectivity to the database in order to provide search results. Some assumptions that we have moving forward are that the application will have subsequent versions that will include expansion to the Android platform, as initially the application will be focusing solely on the iOS platform.
To begin discussing the functional requirements of the FoodSpy app, I would like to start with the account management requirements. These requirements include that the user should be able to create a profile with their personal diet, their dietary restrictions, allergies, preferences, and their location. The user will be able to use a drop-down menu to indicate their sensitivity level to any particular food item. When the user is creating their profile, the system should require the following inputs with data validation: their first name, their last name, their date of birth, street address, city, state, and zip code. The system shall allow the user to set preferred dishes so that the user does not always need to search for the same dish frequently. If the user is using the application for the very first time, an account creation prompt should be presented to the user. The system should include instructions as to how to use the software for both new users and as something to refer to for current users as a guide. The user should be able to set their caloric and nutritional goals on their food input as they desire. The user should be able to create a shopping list that can be saved for later retrieval with selected locations marked. The next set of functional requirements that I'd like to discuss are the account access requirements. In these requirements, the system shall allow users to log into their account by using both a username and password combination or a fingerprint option. The system should provide the option for the user to reset their password in the event that they are locked out of their account. The system should provide the user with the option to log out of their account when they choose to. The login screen should have a forgot password button available to users in the event that they cannot recall their password. And the user should be able to authenticate using facial recognition as well as the above mentioned formats. Next, I'd like to discuss the layout and GUI functional requirements. For these requirements, the FoodSpy app will collect information on the caloric intake of meals, and it will log the information in the user profile. The app breaks down consumed foods into their respective food group categories for diet tracking. Once the user is logged into the app, the system should provide a menu button with the following items: My Profile, Settings, Exit, Frequently Asked Questions, Share this app, and About this app. The system shall maintain restaurant categories and subcategories. The system shall maintain a breakfast, lunch, and dinner menu for each restaurant in the database, and maintain the nutritional contents of each dish. The last date of menu update should be displayed so the user knows how recent the information is. This is useful in the event that menu ingredients could change. The user should see suggestions on the main page for frequently searched items, food providers, or restaurants.
Hello, my name is Kayla Pastor, and I'm going to be presenting the second half of the functional requirements. This first section has to do with settings and notifications. So users have the option to turn geolocate feature on or off. This is important because geolocate can drain the battery on some phones, or maybe users just don't feel comfortable with having the geolocate feature on for the app in case we're tracking their data. The system shall alert the users of possible allergies based on allergens that were saved in the user profile. This is important. This is one of the main functions of our app, so that way users are able to track dietary information. So being able to save all their dietary information is important, so they're not always entering it all the time. The system shall provide alerts to the users when there is a change in the ingredients of a particular dish that is saved in the user's preferred dishes. This is a quality of life function, as restaurants change their recipes a lot to certain meals. You can go to a restaurant for years, eat the same meal, and you get comfortable ordering it, and then they change it 1 month and you don't know that it actually has an allergen that you can't eat anymore. And you've already eaten it so many times that you may forget to check the food dish every time you eat it. So this will prevent users from accidentally eating something that they shouldn't. The user should have the ability to add or edit their personal information through the use of settings feature, allowing the user's profile to maintain relevancy to their current needs. The user should be able to customize their notification settings through the use of the settings feature. The system should allow the user to turn any notification on or off. This is more for ease of all these three are more for ease of use than anything else, and it allows the user to get the best experience out of the app. This is the second part of settings and notifications. So, notifications should include important updates from FoodSpy. That way that they always get the latest version. It could include more restaurants or better range or bug fixes. It's always important for users to keep their app up to date. Important updates from FoodSpy should include software updates, bug fixes, new features, new partnerships, new things to discover in your area. This is to keep up to date, and so the users are always getting the most up-to-date information that we have, and we get them as much information as we can. If users decide to eat a food with a known allergen, food should be flagged so if a reaction occurs, the user can easily look back and see the cause. This is important because sometimes you're trying to figure out if you have a food allergy, or maybe you think you used to have a food allergy and you don't anymore, or you're trying to even find like a migraine trigger. So sometimes you will consume something on purpose that you know you shouldn't be eating, but you'd like to track to see if it actually causes a reaction so maybe you can reintroduce the food back into your life. Users should be informed prior to or during use that this is a tool and not to be relied on for severe allergies, and always inform the waitstaff of their allergies to prevent severe allergic reactions. This was this one is important because cross-contamination is a huge thing in restaurant kitchens, especially in something that's assembly line cooking like a salad bar or other things that might actually get contaminated. It has nothing to do with the food ingredients itself, so it's important for the wait staff to actually be informed that the user has an allergy because we can't do anything to handle cross-contamination issues on our side. Users can optionally turn on cellular data save mode and application will not load. Rich picture information is saved on data consumption. This one is to keep our data usage down because some users may have limited data plans. The next section of functional requirements I'll be covering is search and indexing. So users should be able to search for a variety of food items based on a keyword entry and have the results returned to screen. This one is important because this is the main basis of our app. That way users are able to find food that they want to eat and look for it based off of what they look into. In order to identify a particular dish, the system should provide the following search criteria: city, zip code, restaurant category, restaurant subcategory, food type. The system shall keep a history of the user's searches to allow for a quick search. The system search feature should contain an autofill feature which would allow suggested results to appear from the drop-down menu as the user is typing their search. This is all things that maybe the user would expect from prior application use, maybe not relating to this field, but the autofill feature is pretty common in a lot of apps, and so is a history. That way that they can use the app a bit quicker. The app should provide contact information for FoodSpy should a customer need to reach a representative of the company. Users should choose their main location so the user can search the restaurants in the area to conserve battery, so the phone does not have to geolocate every time the application is in use. This one's important because users may prefer to use the application in this manner, where it's not actually searching as soon as they get to a restaurant, but instead to plan out their meals that they're going to be eating. Users should be able to filter menu items by caloric range, so only meals that fit their caloric range are displayed. This is also important for our nutritional aspect. That way, users have a chance to filter food because sometimes you go out to eat and you pick a dish and you decide on that and you're on a diet and you realize that the grilled chicken actually has 1,500 calories in it and you gotta go back and try to decide on something else to eat. Users should be able to search for restaurants within a specified mile radius to their current location to preview menus in advance to decide as to their destination. And I already covered that. Users should be able to search the system for restaurants or food providers that sell organic foods. Users should be able to search the system for restaurants or food providers that ensure humane treatment of animals in their food products. This is part of us trying to cater to the category of people who may be vegans or maybe they're not quite vegans but they want to make sure that animals are treated humanely and stuff so we can help them maintain their ethical eating lifestyle. Users can select the location they are at and only see food selections at that available location. Food information provided will include usual nutritional panel plus the following: organic, allergen information, contains animal byproduct, and if humane treatment of animals was ensured. So this was the remaining half of the functional requirements.
My name is David Kabore. Over the next few slides, I will present the non-functional requirements as well as the system architecture for the FoodSpy application. Now let's start with the non-functional requirements. The FoodSpy application will be able to limit GPS search results to 300 feet when turned on. The system will allow users to access the application through Wi-Fi or cellular network. The system will limit response time to return a search result to 10 seconds. If no result is returned within 10 seconds, then the system will prompt the user to change or refresh the search. FoodSpy partners are required to fully disclose accurate and truthful information on all FoodSpy and all food products for the FoodSpy database, including but not limited to ingredients, processing procedures, and nutritional facts. Users will be provided with a privacy policy which states that all user information will be kept confidential and will not be distributed to any FoodSpy partner or third party. FoodSpy application size on the user's phone or device should not exceed 250 megabytes. The user profiles should be transferable to other devices or accessible from multiple devices simultaneously. The system will initially support English, Spanish, and French to cover our initial market. When using cellular data connection, rich data and pictures can be deactivated to reduce data consumption. New updates to the application are applied while the mobile device is connected to a Wi-Fi network. Database management is performed by a third-party team to be determined by the FoodSpy team. The system should lock out a user for an hour after 6 failed password attempts. The application text will be in English. Data will be backed up daily between the hours of 1 a.m. and 3 a.m. Up to 500 new accounts can be added each day. An account may be updated up to 50 times each day. Now let's talk about the system architecture for the application. The FoodSpy mobile application will be developed for the iOS platform and it will run on iPhones and iPads. We will utilize the Swift programming language which was created by Apple for programming iOS applications. Swift is fast, safe, and modern with powerful tools that enable interactivity in development and contains several desirable features such as closures, generics, and type reference that make it much easier to use in programming. In regards to the framework, Cocoa Touch will be the framework for this FoodSpy application. It's the mobile version of Apple's Cocoa framework for the Macintosh development, and its intended use is touch application for the iOS platform. It allows for the creation of rich user experiences, it's a collection of frameworks with options for audio, data management, graphics and animation, networking and internet user applications. This is the architectural design for the FoodSpy application. Most mobile applications use a layered application because it allows for quick updates of some of the components or layers without affecting other layers or components. So using a layered architecture will allow the FoodSpy team to quickly make updates and roll out those updates at a fast pace. The user interacts directly with the user authentication layer, which will house the login, logout, and password reset services. The next layer is the application configuration and security services. This layer will contain the application management, account management, authentication services, and security management services. The next layer is the local data and cache. This layer will contain the user storage and application storage and also interfacing components. The FoodSpy application will have a remote mobile support infrastructure which will receive and store the data from third-party partners and then send that data to the user's phone when requested by the user during a search.
To wrap up the presentation, it's your project engineer, Leiser Garcia again, and I'll be running through some use case diagrams that the group designed. The first one is the account management use case designed by Michelle Bakels. The Register a User feature of the FoodSpy app takes the personal information of the customer in order to cater suggestions to store information in their profile. The user chooses a profile name, enters their birthday, location, and preferred dish. The system asks the user's preferred dish so that the user does not need to always search the same dish frequently. The system asks the user to list any allergies, and of those allergies, make a note of their sensitivity to the allergen. The system asks the user to indicate any health risks, diseases the user may have, and of those risks, how serious those risks are. The system allows the user to store a shopping list for later retrieval of saved locations and items. The second use case diagram is for settings and notification, and this one was designed by Kayla Pastor. Users can modify the settings they originally chose at any time of sign up as their needs change. Users can decide to close their account if they decide the app is no longer needed. Our third use case diagram is for account access, and it was designed by David Kabore. In order to access his or her account, the user will need to log in, log out, and/or occasionally reset his or her password. The final use case diagram is for search and indexing and is one that I created. The user is a consumer searching for a nice place to have lunch. He has recently decided, however, to stop eating beef and has found many places in the area he loves. He remembers eating at a nice place but cannot recall the name. He begins to type out the name of the food item, and the autofill feature begins to populate the food item, and the menu fills with vegetable lo mein. He selects it, and the restaurant location shows up as Hong Kong Organic Garden. A warning pops up on his screen that reads, "Selected food item is cooked at a location that also serves items with peanuts in it." This is kept in history should the information be needed later for medical history. A food cart opens and displays nutritional value for vegetable lo mein. The user selects the food item, and all nutritional information is added to the user profile for their daily tracking of goals. And that brings us to the end of our presentation. Thank you and have a nice day.